Thank you, Peg, and thank you guys for staying. So I'm going to read from my neuroscience book, The Left Brain Speaks, The Right Brain Laughs, an irreverent look at the neuroscience of innovation and creativity in art, science, and life. While this is nonfiction, of course, each chapter, and the chapters are all titled with the names of things that we often think are separate, but we really know are deeply interlinked, like You and Me, which is chapter 1, and Life and Death, or my favorite, Talent and Skill, and all leading up to art and science. But tonight I'm going to read the introduction to chapter 5, Intelligence and Intuition. This is the singular story in the life of Vanessa and Vinnie Mommy Love. High-powered attorney Vanessa Mommy Love faces an exhausting day of depositions, client meetings, and a jury trial after lunch, followed by a meeting of partners. As she drops her 4-year-old son Vinnie off at kitty care, we can forgive her distractions. She walks Vinnie through the Rainbow Arch entrance and into a classroom abuzz with children in various states of anxiety and glee. She kneels down, face to face with little Vinnie, and takes in his big brown eyes. Each day, Vinnie acquires greater responsibility for himself, and Vanessa feels the heart-wrenching mix of pride in his growth and yearning for time to slow down. This morning, Vinnie buttoned up his violet checked shirt all by himself, but he didn't quite line up the buttons. Vanessa checks her watch and makes a decision that she feels good about. The deposition can wait a few minutes for her to button her son's shirt properly. She unbuttons the shirt and aligns each panel. "See how they line up, Vinnie?" she says. Vinnie looks straight down, and his adorable pudgy cheeks contrast with his slightly furrowed brow as he concentrates on the shirt buttoning process. She says, "I'll hold it while you button," and Vinnie attaches the buttons in the proper order. There are 5 buttons, and it takes every second of a minute for him to attach each one. She checks her watch several times, but does her best to convey patience. Around them, kitty care maintains its state of limited chaos. Vanessa can feel the kind-hearted gazes of other parents and preschool teachers, but none of that compares to the feeling of time slipping away. Both the immediacy of being late to work and the looming bittersweet nostalgia for her son making the transition from toddler to boy to man. As Vinnie attaches the top button all the way up under his chin, his eyelashes turn up, and Vanessa swims in those brown eyes again. Vinnie's cheeks puff out as he grins and holds his arms out as wide as he can, proud of himself and certain of the approving hug he's about to receive. Vanessa takes him up in her arms, squeezes him tight, and says, as she does every morning, "I love you so much I could just eat you." And he responds the same way that he has since he learned to talk. "Don't eat me, Mommy." She sets him down, he turns his head and pushes his cheek against her lips, and she pretends to bite him. Their daily ritual complete, Vinnie launches into the fray of children, toy cars, balls, dolls, and stuffed animals. Vanessa rises, smooths her suit, and turns toward the door. She stops at the Rainbow Arch and looks back. Vinnie has climbed on a beanbag chair and is pushing a plastic dump truck into another child's toy tiger. The cluster of children moves this way and that, and Vinnie's violet checked shirt, black hair, and sweet cheeks move with them, an island of affection on a continent of youth. Now, 10 minutes late, Vanessa rushes to work. Her day provides no respite, no chance to ponder her mortality, no opportunity to reflect, just a constant rush of busy interaction, argument, and a brutal afternoon headache. As evening approaches, she rushes back to kitty care, intent on getting there before 6 o'clock, at which time the late fines accumulate. The fines are nothing compared to the guilt of seeing Vinnie there all alone. The traffic is light today, and she pulls into the parking lot at 5:30. Peak pickup time. She walks under the Rainbow Arch into the high-pitched cacophony of children playing and scans the melee for Vinnie. A child in a violet checked shirt runs up to her. He has black hair, huge brown eyes, And when he gets to her, he holds out his arms and turns his head to the side. Precisely the ritual that Vanessa shares with her son. But this isn't Vinny. Oh yes, this child looks exactly like Vinny. Wears the very clothes she left him in 9 hours ago, and portrays the motions of her son, but Vanessa knows this is not her son. The child waits several seconds, as though he expects Vanessa to kneel down and pretend to bite his cheek. Instead, Vanessa scans the crowd for Vinny. She figures that he must have swapped clothes with this tiny imposter, so she examines every child's face. None of them look like Vinny. The child at her feet wraps his arms around her legs, and she tries to shake him off. Shards of panic stab Vanessa's heart. The child at her feet starts to wail, "Mommy, bite my cheek!" Vanessa peels the boy's arms away from her and takes his hand. She walks the boy, who is now sobbing, to the teacher and asks, "Where is Vinny, and why is this child wearing my son's clothes?" "What?" the teacher replies. "Is this some kind of sick joke? Where's my son?" And the child screams, "Mommy, it's me!" Vanessa looks at the teacher and then the child. She turns away and tries to concentrate. You see, Vanessa is a woman of extraordinary intelligence and self-discipline. She's got that feeling of alarms going off in her head, not just because she can't find Vinny, but because she knows she's overlooking something. Combing through her undergraduate studies, she finds it. In a lecture she attended a decade ago, her psychology professor described Capgras syndrome. Capgras syndrome is a rare neurological disorder You see, when Vanessa looks at Vinny, she doesn't get that rush of emotion that she expects upon seeing her son. She doesn't want to bite his cheek or hug him tight. He's cute, but try as she might, the disconnect between her feelings and her intellect runs so deep that she is incapable of perceiving him as her son. Vanessa takes a breath, and she reviews her day and recalls that headache after lunch. It laid her out for an hour, complete with loss of breath and a shallow pulse. She started to feel better and made it through the day, but now she realizes that she must have had a stroke. A tiny stroke. Once Vanessa's intellect overrides her intuition, she understands that this crying child, who looks identical to her son, is indeed Vinny. She kneels down and holds her arms out as she would for Vinny. He launches into them, and she carries him through the rainbow arch. By the time they reach the parking lot, Vanessa finds a substitute for her own affection. She has made the conscious decision to treat Vinny as she would any child who has been separated from his parents. She shakes her head at the thought, because Vinny has most certainly been separated from her. Thank you.